Can everyone hear me loud and clear?
Yep, loud and clear. Good.
Okay,
Right.
yes,
Okay.
doctor.
Thank you, May. Thank you, Winston.
Thank you, doctor.
For having me here, and to all of these 160 participants in today's workshop, e-workshop. Thank you very much. Welcome to this first ever webinar. Okay. So I'll share my screen. Okay, so if you can see on your screen right now, I have prepared for you a resource kind of like hub that you can go to and to download the slides of my presentation for today. There are also links and also resources that are relevant to my workshop today. So if you can jot down the URL right now, and probably you want to exploit later, the URL will be persistent online. It will always be online. So don't worry, we won't take it down after the workshop. It's going to be there forever. Yeah. Okay. So just a bit of an introduction. My name is Hafiz. I am a senior lecturer in education technology in UPSI, University Pendidikan Sultan Idris. In case if you don't know where it is, it's in Tanjung Malim, Perak. So bordering with Hulu Selangor, yeah, in Selangor, right. So in today's e-workshop, I would like to try and make an attempt to actually cover 6 Google apps in approximately an hour, to explain to you how best we can leverage these tools for online teaching and learning, and on top of that, to make the learning for our students experience a bit more fun for them. All right. Some prerequisite for the activity that we are going to do, because Google Apps, it's on the cloud, so you need internet connectivity. So if you have somewhat intermittent or very bad internet connectivity, you will have some frustration, or some hard time trying this. So make sure that if you want to implement this, the things that I will share with you after this, so make sure that the internet connection is quite good. And moreover, the services that we are going to use is going to be accessible to multiple devices. So whether you have a PC, you have a laptop, or even you have a mobile phone, you can also access all of the apps that I am going to explore or share with you today. All right. So what are the apps that we are going to explore today? So as you can imagine, Google in its app sphere, app ecosystem, there are a lot of applications that you can use. But for the purpose of today's e-workshop, I will just explain to you how to use among the sticks of the apps within the Google ecosystem. It is very interconnected. You will see later how it is connected. Okay. So the first being Google Classroom. I think if you are a teacher in KPM in MOE, Ministry of Education in Malaysia, you've already known Google Classroom, because it has been the go-to platform for teachers nowadays to deliver the online teaching. So what is actually Google Classroom? So Google Classroom is, for me, it's actually like a learning management system. So in short, it's LMS. So this Google Classroom is what it does is it tries to facilitate the sharing of files between teachers and students. Okay, and it also facilitate the communication between all of the different stakeholders, the teachers, the students, and also the parents. Okay, but the parents, it has to be enabled site-wide or by Google admin. in KPM case, it should be enabled by the KPM. So I'm not sure whether the parents' features or guardian has been enabled by KPM. So you might be able to advise me on that. Next, we will cater with this app, Google Drive. So whether you are familiar with this or not, so Google Drive is actually one of the key service application under Google. And what it is an online file storage and synchronization services. Okay, it is an app that lives on the cloud on the server that you can access to put your files and to download the files, give access of the files to other people, and that is how Google Drive works. Okay, it's essentially like your external storage. If you have something like this, or if you have a pen drive, okay, it's actually like that, but you minus the physical part of it. So it lives online, so you need to have an internet connection to to utilize that service. But there is also some features, some apps within Google Drive that can live or that can run offline. Okay, meaning that you don't have to have an internet connection to use it. But more on that later. Okay. Next is Google Docs. So Google Docs, you can imagine it is very similar to if you are, I think all of you are familiar with this Microsoft Word. So it's very similar to Microsoft Word, but it is online. Yeah, because Microsoft also has their online version of Microsoft Word, which they call Office 365, if I'm not mistaken. But Google also has that kind of service, meaning word processing online. So this application will allow you to collaboratively, edit a document or a document online. So you can actually create a document, and then the document will live or will be placed on your Google Drive. So the link to that file on that Google Drive you can share with other people, so that other people can view that file and edit it with you. So it's some sort of like a wiki kind of thing, or if you may, if you want it, usually if you want to share your work with other people, you will work on that project on probably Microsoft Word. You save it on the pen drive, and you give that pen drive to other people, and that people open the file and load it on their desktop or laptop, and then work on it, and then save it back in the pen drive, and they have to give that pen drive to you. So Google Docs eliminate that kind of traffic, that kind of logistics, meaning that the file is forever on the Google Drive. So you just share the link with that person. Okay, so that is Google Docs. Google Sheet is quite similar to Microsoft Excel. Okay, this is the Microsoft Excel version for Google, and it also lives on the cloud online. The next application is Google Form. Okay, so Google Form is a tool that allows us to collect information from other people via a personalized survey or quiz. All right. So later I'll show to you how we can manipulate Google Forms into turning it into a quiz and embed it in Google Classroom for teaching and learning. And last but not least, Google Drawings. Probably many of you might not have heard of Google Drawings, but Google Drawing has been part of the Google ecosystem for quite a long time, and it is it's a nifty tool. It's a web-based diagramming tool, so you can actually imagine if you're using Windows on your laptop or a PC. you might be quite familiar with Paint, Microsoft Paint. So this is quite similar to Microsoft Paint, where it permits you to actually, draw something, or building diagrams on it, and then save it as a picture. But Google Drawing is also an online tool. All right, so you need to have an internet connection to use it. All right, okay. So that's that. So these are the links to all of the apps. Okay, if you can see here, let me spotlight. Okay. Right, okay. Never mind. So for classroom, for assessing classroom, you can just go type in the URL classroom.google.com on this on the URL bar of your browser. So for Drive, it's Google Drive is for drive.google.com, and for Google Docs, Google Sheets, Google Form, and Google Drawings, the base URL is the same. Okay, it's just that for sheets, forms, and drawings, it has a bit of extra, extra URL there, /sheets, /forms, and /drawings. So you might want to jot this down, URL down, but this slide is also provided in the Padlet link. Okay, so you can check it out later. All right. So now I won't take very long in terms of explaining what the tools. I will spend more time showing you how to do it. So in order to have some context in what we are going to do, after this, I've provided you a scenario that you can actually relate to. So this is an example scenario that we are going to simulate. So during the MCO, classes are being cancelled, okay? And teaching and learning needs to be carried out via online services. So you as a teacher, you want to get your students to participate in an online discussion that revolves around the topic of photosynthesis. So probably I'll take, probably you are teaching science subject, but please bear in mind, this example is just an example for, this just to illustrate you on the how to do it. Okay, just take note on how to do it, not, don't bog down with, okay, this is for science or for science subject. What about math? What about physics? What about other subjects? It can be applied to other subjects as well. So what you need to do is to understand how the tools work. After you understand how the tools work, then you can figure out, because the tools is just tools. What's more important is your idea, your teaching and learning idea, your pedagogical design. That is the most important thing. The tools is secondary. Okay, once you've understand how the tools work, then you can actually think about, okay, so Google Form can do this, so why don't we do this? Okay, so that's how you should approach this, this exercise. Okay, so for the sake of just illustrating, the functionalities of the tool, I'll, carry on with this scenario. So the topic is photosynthesis. You want the discussion to be lively, interactive, and informative. You also want to measure your students at the end of the, activity. Usually we teachers, educators, we want to actually, measure how far the students can actually grasp what they have done, right? So we want to measure the students' understanding at the end of the discussion. So for this scenario, the main assumption is that all students have good internet connectivity. So that is the assumption that we are going to adopt. So in reality, if you want to use these tools, you need to also look into whether your students have access to the internet, basically. All right. If they have access to the internet, they have access to the devices that can access the internet, then you are fine. All right. Okay. So how are we going to approach this activity? All right, it's quite simple. This is something that you have all probably actually have done it for number of times already. Okay, first we have to understand the idea and its requirement. So what is what we want is for our students to have the first discussion. So we want them to discuss something. Okay, and for them to work together, okay, for a few tasks, and then for us to evaluate the understanding. Okay, so based on these idea and requirements, so to fit that kind of scenario with the 6 tools that we are going to explore. So I've outlined here Google Classroom. We will use Google Classroom to manage the classroom. Google Drive for us to store the relevant supportive materials. Okay, Google Docs is for our students to collaboratively write a report. Okay, so we can assign groups, within Google Classroom. All right, so and then we assign specific Google Docs for that particular students. Okay. And then Google Drawings, we will use Google Drawings for them to illustrate the photosynthesis process. Okay, so I'll show it to you later. Google Form and Google Sheet is for us to distribute the questionnaire or the quiz, and for the Google Sheet is for us to analyze the result of the quiz. Okay, and after that, after we figured that out, we have to also look into the learning objectives, standard pembelajaran, and this is very normal, standard learning standards. So what I have put here, just hypothetical learning objectives. First is to be able to explain the benefits of photosynthesis. And then the second one is to be able to illustrate the process of photosynthesis. Okay, that is the two idea of learning objectives that we are trying to do with them. So, and then the third step is to find relevant materials and prepare the lesson flow. So this is quite important too. And then after that, carry out and evaluate the lesson. So this is basically things that you have done for numbers of years and so on and so forth. All right. Now,